Sundee Frazier burst onto the publishing scene with Brendan Buckley's Universe, for which she won the Coretta Scott King John Steptoe New Talent Award. That book established her as a writer who could reach a big audience with brisk storytelling, relatable characters, and a proven record. As a writer who could build a fun, believable, lighthearted series featuring kids of color. Mighty Inside is a book that brings a popular and highly respected author to another level of literary accomplishment. This is a book that, while set in the 1950s, feels as if it was crafted for this exact moment in history. Frazier brings the large and the small together in a beautiful, kind story about our strength to overcome, while remaining honest and clear-eyed to the happy end. As you'll hear, this story is extremely personal and based on the lived experience of her family. But you may get questions about her treatment of stuttering, since she herself does not stutter. But the character of Melvin is based on Sundee's father, who did stutter. And we had a careful sensitivity read by Jerome Ellis, a nationally recognized artist, musician, and stutterer. Ellis praised Mighty Inside with these words: "What a miracle. I loved every moment of it. Everything felt so nuanced and authentic. There were many moments where I thought to myself, wow, she nailed that too. It's so finely observed." Now here's Sundee Frazier herself to tell you more about Mighty Inside.
Hi, I'm Sundee Frazier, author of Mighty Inside. The inspiration for this story goes back to 1941, when my grandparents purchased their first and only home in a part of town where they were forbidden to live. My grandpa got around restrictive covenants that kept Black people out of certain neighborhoods by working with a white man who posed as the buyer and then deeded over the house to my grandparents. When my grandma told me this story about 20 years ago, I knew then that I would write a novel in honor of my Black people in Spokane, Washington, and by extension, the Pacific Northwest, a place that people don't always associate with Black folks or with racism, but both are here. The story centers on Melvin Robinson, who is 13 and starting high school in the shadow of two superstar siblings. Melvin is really worried. The stutter that he's had since first grade is getting worse, and Melvin is full of all kinds of fears about what this bodes for his future. Then Melvin meets Lenny, a Jewish-Italian boy determined to be Melvin's friend. Lenny happens to live above the town's Harlem Club, a place owned by a Black man who, due to social expectations, maintains a segregated policy. White folks get the club 5 nights a week, Black folks the other 2. Lenny challenges Melvin to take some risks, to audition for the local TV variety show, and to talk to the girl that Melvin likes. But when the racism in his Pacific Northwest town gets personal, Melvin has to find the courage to act or face a future of torment at the hands of bullies. This is a story of friendship, allyship, and speaking up even when we're afraid and we're not sure how to. It will connect with kids who feel like they have a limitation that causes them to doubt their abilities, or really anyone who's ever felt like the only one in their class or peer group. My greatest hope is that it will give kids context for how we got to where we are now, the segregation and the attitudes that have resulted in the inequities and the justified anger that we see today. Ultimately, it's an homage to Black people in the Pacific Northwest, an underrepresented group in the narrative of what it means to be Black in America. I'm really excited to share Mighty Inside with you, and I hope you enjoy it.